arcade machines from my youth is a little game called Kid Niki. It's your basic premise of a hero saving a princess, but its simplicity kept you coming back for more. I can't even tell you how many quarters I must have shoved into this machine. Sending ninjas flying with the flick of your sword, so satisfying. So you can imagine when it came out for the Nintendo in the late 80s, I shit my pants. It was like, wow, I can play this game at home? No more wasted quarters? Or, I guess in this case, they were my mom's quarters. Anyway, we're going to go back to 1987 and we're going to save Princess Margot. So I guess Kid Niki is at his dojo when a bird gets hit by an arrow. Now when I was a kid, I actually thought I was playing this to avenge the bird's death. No. Turns out there was a note attached to that arrow asking for help and that Princess Margot needs saving. So if it's not a ransom note or anything from the bad guys themselves, then the person who shot the arrow is a good guy. Why in the hell would you not just deliver it to me? Keeping in mind Kid Niki is inside his dojo, which means the arrow would have had to have been fired inside the room. For fuck's sakes, you can't just walk over and hand it to me? Assuming I succeed in saving Margot, now I've got a goddamn bird carcass I have to clean up when I get back. It's like going over to your neighbor's house to borrow some milk and then shooting their dog in the fucking face. Well, anyway, this is our hero. The biggest difference between this and the arcade was that Kid Niki was dressed in yellow rather than the red you see here. The graphics and sound were much better in the arcade, but the home version got the basic idea done quite well, as it's still satisfying as all hell, hitting a never-ending onslaught of ninjas and sending them out of existence. Yeah! Where does his sword coming from? Well, I guess I could make a couple of jokes here, but where does he keep it? Now, when I was a kid, I could never figure out how to beat the first boss. I'd hit him in the stomach, nope. I'd hit him in the face, nope. I'd hit him on the top of his head, nope. Instead, all I did was get blown all over the place. The funny thing was in the arcade version, I never got beat by the boss once. The time limit would just run out and then my quarter was wasted. Turns out I wasn't being creative enough. No, because apparently all you need to do is just hit him in the balls when he's jumping down. Now, I think most people would probably consider him pretty easy once you figured this out. Not me. If he can take this many shots to the balls with my wiener sword, makes him pretty tough in my book. Attaboy? Sure, whatever. So, looking at our map, we can see we've got 6 more levels, or in this case, the game refers to them as rounds. The second round is when you start to notice you can get power-ups, which really just let you shoot things for a period of time. I've never found any real good use for these, so often I ignore them. Other than the ninja dendrophiliacs throwing bombs at you, it's really just much of the same. That bird poop? Can I pick it up? Nice, fecal points. As for the boss, he's mindless and easy. Moving on. Next round, once again, couple of new baddies, but still, it's just the same thing. The boss, however, is easier than Lindsay Lohan on a late Friday night after she scored some coke from her mother. Next, we're in a cave. At this point, I've got to say, this is when the monotony starts to wear on you. Mainly it's because your enemies are just the same thing. They may look different, but they do the same things as all the other enemies. Bubbles? No! You motherfucking son of a mother. So what the hell is with this shit? I'll admit this is definitely different from the rest of the game, but this is frustrating. The bubbles are so sporadic, then there is no clear pattern. Part of the problem is how high you jump. Being in the air keeps you vulnerable, but you have to stay in the fucking air to get through. The bubbles literally swivel back and forth. It's like a kid who's had too much sugar is just waving them all over the place. Another major issue with the jumping is if you're running to the end of a platform and you go to jump, a good percentage of the time the jump doesn't register if you're too close. I should have commented on this earlier, but now it's becoming a real problem. I jumped, you son of a... Eating a potato! Which reminds me of Zelda 2 for the NES when you're going across that one bridge and all those bubbles are flying at you. They're just bubbles. And if they're gonna be this fatal, why couldn't you just make it like a river of lava and flames are shooting at you? But bubbles? It's like the programmers are laughing at you. I know what we can do, Carl. We'll put bubbles in the game. One hit will be fatal. This will in turn break them down, feeling like nothing and never believing in themselves. Thus, by not having any self-esteem, we'll cause a major movement in music. We'll call it grunge music. Carl, get me the contact numbers for Eddie Vedder and Kurt Cobain. We have a job to do. Eventually, with a lot of luck, you will make it through and fight a centipede-looking thing. After all the crap with the bubbles, that monotony before feels like a breath of fresh air. The boss is just weird. He can kill you with his words and he calls you a fool. I guess he's like the Asian Mr. T. Once you realize it's just a simple pattern, he becomes just as easy as the previous bosses. Next up, same stuff, stupid boss, moving on. Now we're on to the final battle. The level consists of the same enemies before and is relatively simple to get through. And this is the bastard that took Princess Margot? Kinda reminds me of like an evil Billy Idol. He's a lot like the Asian Mr. T in the sense that he has a pretty simple pattern. Just wait for the fire and then run over and hit him. Rinse and repeat. Really, the only difference is you'll fight him 2 more times on the top of a pagoda. You hit him twice, he runs away, hit him twice, and he runs away again. Yeah, this guy runs away more than Josh Koscheck of the UFC. Again, it's the same pattern. Once he takes the final blow, he falls down, and that's the end. No big special ending. The game simply just calls you a radical dude, and that's it. Well, that's Kid Niki. Aside from the monotony, it's a pretty badass game, as long as there's no friggin' bubbles involved.